To your May meeting of the Resident Association, and I'd like to begin it with a moment of silence. That was for us. It's 1 hour for your phones. I just have a few opening comments. As I think you might recall, the Resident Council had several objectives this year, and clearly one of them was to encourage resident engagement. And last month, to everybody's surprise, we encouraged everybody to participate in a survey that would characterize and quantify our residents' engagement in the local Lexington, Rockbridge, Union Vista community. We conducted it. It was done very quickly. A lot of us did not have a chance to do it. Some of us were traveling and out of town. But the results were amazing for those of us who were not fully aware of the impact our residents and Kendall has on the local community. We had 82 survey results. That is from 82 different residents. They characterized their participation in 69 different local organizations. Amazing. That involved everything from charitable donations to social clubs to 9 different churches. I mean, it was amazing. And they averaged 11.5 hours a month working with those local organizations. Furthermore, we had 22 residents. I imagine they moved here locally who recruited other residents to join them. So we are very, very proud of that, and it sends a great signal upon not only do we benefit from the local area, but we're sharing our benefits with them. Furthermore, just to characterize engagement, led by our horticulture committee and Sue, we have 37 different residents volunteering to take care of landscape maintenance across our campus. We have 20 different residents who completed a training session by Jen, and you'll hear more about that later in this meeting. And we have an interest group, which you'll hear more about, dedicated to helping develop the Rays Community Garden. So tell me, do you have any time to relax? Thank you so much. With that, I'd like to introduce Hardin Marion, who is going to, at the Resident Council's request, summarize what's going on with Conversation Hour. Hardin?
Thank you, Bob, and good morning, everyone. We're a little early in the agenda this morning. Kendall at Lexington opened its doors to residents in July 2000. Soon thereafter, the residents created and began to run Conversation Hour. It was then, as it remains today, the best beverage bar in Lexington, serving drinks for $1 per glass. Did I do something to it? For 25 years or so, drinks have remained at that bargain price. It helps us operate on a nonprofit basis. But that's not the primary reason and purpose of Conversation Hour. But that's not the primary purpose of Conversation Hour. What Conversation Hour was intended to do was to give residents a regular, once-a-week chance to socialize, to meet one another, and to get to know each other. Hence its name was and continues to be Conversation Hour. Not cocktail hour or happy hour or some other catchy beverage name. It was designed to offer all residents a chance to meet and get to know other residents and for them to get to know you. Conversation Hour occurs every Tuesday evening from 5 to 6 p.m. 2 people volunteer to serve as hosts during the Tuesdays of each month. The hosts determine where Conversation Hour will take place each Tuesday, and the location changes from time to time. Folks have different favorite spots, but its current location in the library at the rear of our Anderson lobby seems to be the most popular. Having it there enables hosts, when weather cooperates, to operate from the patio. No hard liquor is ever served. Wine and beer are always served. And for those who do not drink alcoholic beverages, other options are available, such as water, soft drinks, and non-alcoholic beer. Snacks like peanuts, chips, and pretzels are available. From time to time in years past, pizza slices were offered. Soon that trend will return. But pizzas must be ordered by attendees in advance. Adam Day often stops by for a Conversation Hour visit, and members of our core leadership team attend on occasion. In fact, Adam has arranged for him and his team to serve as Conversation Hour hosts on the 5 Tuesdays in September. So you'll want to be sure to be there then. If you're not at least an occasional attender of Conversation Hour, I invite you to give it a try, to meet some new resident friends, and to let them get to know you. Thank you very much.
Again about Staff Appreciation Fund Drive. This is our spring drive. The second half of the drive is held in the fall. You all should have gotten the letter from the Residents Council announcing this year's spring fund drive for the staff. And this is going to continue through June 12th. That'll be the final day that anyone can make a donation this year. All of the funds that are donated during the drive will be distributed to our fine group of employees. We know that these bonuses have both a positive impact not only on staff retention, but also on staff recruitment. So please remember to thank our great staff for all they do for us by making your donation to this Spring Appreciation Fund in the next 2 weeks, if you've not already done so. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Adam Day, I'm the CEO. Got a few announcements. It's only one page, nothing on the back. Some HR updates for you. So we got a lot going on in HR. I don't think we formally announced that the IL Care Coordinator position, Sheridan, will be leaving us in June, I believe. And we've actively recruited for that position. And so we're working on that one. Also, Jacqueline, our activities director, will come back briefly, but has indicated that she'll be leaving the organization, so we're recruiting that role as well. So a couple of big positions to fill there. We also are looking at those positions closely to make sure they're aligning with our strategic goals and expectations. So a little more to come on that later. Still looking for Director of Facilities position. We had a nice interview yesterday. We have another one scheduled here in about 45 minutes. So we'll keep going. And we've had very little success on the grounds supervisor position that we've been looking for a while. So we've had, I think, a candidate that actually showed up for the interview, said he had to go to his car and didn't come back. Todd, and we'll keep working on that one too. But so we'll have to get creative with that a little bit. So, but on the heels of that, some success. We did have a job fair, was it last Thursday or something like that, last week or 2 weeks ago? And it was pretty successful. We had 26 applicants come, 4 same-day offers made, 3 additional offers made after the event. We had 2 people come interested in the Director of Facilities role, and we kind of did a preliminary interview and conversation with them that day. They're the 2 people we're talking to now for that. We had 2 people for the IL Care Coordinator role. And we interviewed both of those candidates, and we're working on that. And that position is probably going to get rearranged a little bit. So I think it's we're retitling it Resident Engagement and Care Navigator. So we kind of got rid of the idea that they're coordinating care, so purposefully. So a couple other positive takeaways from the event is the culinary department is fully staffed and the housekeeping department are both fully staffed. So overall, that was a great team effort too. I think a lot of people had their hands in that, and hopefully you got a chance to enjoy a taco. The taco truck guy said he'd come back anytime. So on to some other business here. The apartment building HVAC project. So we're in the design phase of that. We did come to, got some direction. We evaluated the options presented, and we've given the engineer direction to move forward with the design. We also entered into a pre-construction agreement with Warfel Construction. That will help us manage logistics and also lead times on certain pieces of equipment. So that'll help us get the project mobilized and done in a very organized and succinct manner. So we're still looking at a late summer, early fall mobilization, but I'm expected to have an updated schedule probably by the end of this week. Another kind of interesting thing is we did a staff engagement survey, which we have not done since 2024. The last one completed had a 35% participation rate. So I'm happy to say that as of last night, we've had a 65% participation rate, which is great. And I will tell you the overall satisfaction score is lower than it was in 2022, but I think you'd expect that with almost twice as many participants. So we will get into the details of that. I'm hoping that when I have my town hall meeting, which will be on the 27th, I'll be able to share at least some of the preliminary findings of that survey with you then. But I'm pretty pleased with the outcome so far. Tomorrow we have a board meeting that the community is welcome to attend if you're interested. It's at 3 o'clock in Kendall Hall. And lastly, on June 9th, I'll be attending the Leading Age Virginia Conference. I think Adam Pellbauer will be there. I'm doing a small presentation with Tasha Walsh from Connections Plus, so that's good for us. And then right after that, I come home, drive to Washington DC for a TKC CEO peer group on the 10th and 11th. So we're gonna be burning up some gas here in a little bit. So, any questions for me about what I've talked about or anything else I can help you with this morning? Bruce?
Adam, is the activities director job description activities director for all levels of living or for the health center? And I ask the question because I sense we're getting some more emails campus-wide saying come to activities, that are centered at, say, in Borden.
Their primary focus is activities in Borden and Webster. I think what you're seeing is an attempt to engage IL in participating in that and just kind of pulling the community together a little bit better. Their primary focus is not independent living.
Okay.
Another question, Dave?
To follow up on the staff appreciation fund discussion, when you recruit for new employees, does that subject come up? Do you raise that as a talking point in your discussions, and what kind of impact does that have on a prospective employee's desire to come here?
So Dave's question was, do we talk to potential new employees about the staff appreciation fund drive? I would say we talked about it not as a primary benefit, but as a secondary benefit, but I think it's kind of hard for people to grasp until they feel it. So I think it's more of a retention tool than a
Inducement.
inducement, yes. I mean, there's a lot, particularly when you look at direct care workers, you can see it all over advertisement. People are throwing sign-on bonuses everywhere. I don't think people understand the longevity of what you residents are doing for our staff, so we really appreciate that. Anything else this morning? Other question?
Hi, I live on the troublesome third floor north. And I would like to know what's the nature of that air that's blowing through my vents. I have my settings on air conditioning, but it's not. It's just kind of cool, noisy kind of stuff coming in. You know what that is?
It's probably unconditioned air.
It gets very, very warm toward 3 in the afternoon.
It's probably just pulling outside air and pushing it through unconditioned. If I had to bet, maybe when Todd comes up here, if he has a more technical description of it, we can let him handle that. But it might make sense to turn the fan off though. So, but anything else I can help you with this morning? All right, thank you. Sarah's up next.
Good morning. All right, if I can get my slides after this one. So I don't know how many of you logged in to the Kindle, the TKC presentation, but Kindle is getting new branding beginning June 1st. So I wanted to put up some logos today. So there's 4 different examples here of how the logo is going to look. If anyone has any questions, concerns about this, you can certainly, we can open it up for that. TKC did spend a lot of time, I think about 2 years, and a lot of money creating this logo. So we do have the Kindle at Lexington, and then we just have the Kindle logo, but the new symbol is referred to as a trillium, and that's important because when you look at your phone and you see all those little squares of your little apps that you use, that's called a bug, and that's a technical term. We can ask Wayne about that later, but that is why we needed a symbol. So as we come into 2026 and things evolve, that's really important. This is also a bolder look, so it's just better for advertising. But if anyone has any questions, I can do my best to answer those. Oh, good. A little bit of data updates, and everything's looking good up there.
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning, good morning. Just a few quick updates since our last meeting, and I am sorry Kevin will not be able to present today. He is busy living his best life in Ireland at the moment.
Oh.
Yes, because I'm incredibly jealous. That's a whole other conversation for a different time. So, since the last time we met, we have welcomed 4 new households to the wait list. Some folks from Lexington, Virginia, Rockingham, Virginia, Poolesville, Maryland, and St. Albans, West Virginia. So we are still holding strong at 250 households on the wait list, and we still have 80 people on the ready list, ready to move in. Kevin and I have many tours and try-its coming up this summer. We just want to extend a genuine, huge thank you to everyone that has graciously opened their homes to let us come in and tour and take a look around and do a little snooping. If anyone is interested in adding themselves to that list of folks that we reach out to come tour your homes, or maybe to set you up with a meal with a try-it guest, please reach out to me and let me know. Thank you so much, guys.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you all? Good? Good. All right, just a couple things from me. We'll try to be fast. We have a longer agenda today. So a thank you first, because so many more of you are wearing your name tags downstairs. So you've noticed, hopefully if you eat in Anderson, we've got quite a few new folks down there. And wearing your name tag is huge. I had someone remind me that we need to wear our name tags, so I'm working on that. The badges are a little challenging when my folks are prepping because they fold in, but we're going to figure that out. It's only fair. But please say hi to the folks that are down there. And if you're coming through the line, again, thank you. Some of you have been graciously walking slowly or pausing by the register so we can see names and get folks accustomed. So appreciate that. Thank you all for your support. The grill was open this weekend, and I've had many of you tell me that it was wonderful to have that open and that Cooper did a great job, and so thank you for visiting. And the cafe officially opened on Monday, and we've had quite a few residents and staff eating down there for breakfast also, so thank you as we continue to get trained and work through that process, but we appreciate it. Adam already said this, but I feel like I need to say this too. You know, the job fair for us was extremely successful. We hired 2 part-time dishwashers, 2 dietary aides, and Megan, our front of the house supervisor. So thank you for your support in letting us do that and bring people in. And we did a lot of tours that day, and you know, all the people that I talked to said, all the residents were so nice. They all said hi as we were walking around. And you all make a huge difference in the people, retaining people and even bringing people on. So thank you for that too. All right, and then my last thing, upcoming events, because we've always got something. So Monday will be our Memorial Day menu. We'll have normal hours that day. I will get that menu out tomorrow at the latest. Then on June 10th, we are gonna have a campus-wide ice cream social. So 1:30 in the afternoon, we'll promote that too, but I hope you will all come down. We'll have everyone invited from Borden and Webster, and we'll just do a big shindig like we did last summer. So I hope you'll join us for that. On June 17th will be our last kitchen tour for a bit. So if you haven't gone on a tour and still want to, it'll be our last one for a little while, and then we'll probably do them quarterly. We've been doing them strong since August, so I think most people who have wanted to do a kitchen tour have done it. But if you haven't signed up, June 17th. And then we will have Residents Association before then. But if you're planning and plotting to bring family here for Father's Day, we will do our second Father's Day menu this year. So normal time on Sunday, we won't do seating unless you all bring so many families that we then have to next year do the double seating like we do for Mother's Day. But we hope you'll join us, and we just appreciate all of you so much. Does anyone have any questions for me? All right, you know where to find me. Thank you.
All right, good morning. go down my list, though. Adam took half of mine, so that was great. All right, he did talk briefly about the VRF system. Yes, if you are tied to the HVAC VRF system that isn't working, just because the thermostat says air conditioning doesn't mean you're going to get air conditioning. The outside condenser, the compressor, some of the control boards are where that system has failed, and the thermostat is doing its job, but it's lying to you because the parts it's connected to don't work. So in those cases, most of you have a portable AC unit in your unit if that affects you. If not, let us know and we'll get you one. You have to use that. If you're turning it to AC and the outside unit has failed, it will blow hot air on you because it's pulling hot air through those systems with no cooling coils, so it will actually make it worse, not better. So hit us up, Mason, me, or Kenny, and we'll help you out with that if you need some help figuring that out. All right, Adam talked about the ground supervisor and the lack of success with that. We are taking the funds that were set aside for that and going to move on a summer hire for our grounds team. We usually have 3 people plus a 4th in the summer. We didn't do that because that 4th person was supposed to be the new supervisor. Since that person doesn't exist, we are moving ahead with a part-time, temporary, I should say, summer worker that should help them get caught up a little bit. He did not mention the HVAC technician position. That has basically stalled as well, so Mason is doing the job and moving in the right direction with his training and certifications. We talked about my position in the interview yesterday and another one today. 2 strong candidates, so that is back on track. I'm very happy to say that. The blinds project, we're adding blinds to Webster, the Anderson Dining Room, and Down in Fitness. 2 of those 3 were worked on yesterday. They're still waiting on some components, so you should see that project wrapped up in the next few weeks as well. The Columbia Gas Pipeline project is moving. I talked to the design engineers last week and this week with some final design decisions and specifications to get that project moving along. I don't have a price or a timeline for that, but we keep reporting our activity to the state at least, so they haven't yelled at us, which is nice. Our iterative rotation of pressure washing will kick off early June, I think the 1st. They're going to be here to start wrapping up on Sycamore this year for the pressure washing. Elevator number 3, I have a proposal for modernization of that. That is the Webster elevator. They tell me weeks, not years, in terms of the lead time. I've heard that before, so we shall see. I haven't signed anything or given them a check yet, so we're discussing. But that is moving along as well. That is a capital project that was funded for this year too. The courtyard irrigation system is back in service as of May 1st. The damage that was done to it earlier in the year has been repaired and it's been de-winterized and ready to go. But the cistern is dry because we haven't had rain, so the irrigation system is not irrigation systeming, but it will hopefully as soon as we get some rain in the next few days, I hope. That'll be back up helping the courtyard plants. And last thing on my list, the clinic, where the clinic is now, again. The fire marshal and local building official approved some design changes to that for us, and we just got those signed drawings last week. So we're moving ahead. There'll be a little window in the reception area, and the doors that right now have automatic closers on fire doors that don't need to be fire doors. That's all being changed, so it will be a little more user-friendly, a little more normal clinic design in there. Kenny, Tim, and Anthony will be launching on that probably in the next couple weeks. Okay, that was my list. What did I miss? Any questions for me? Yes, ma'am.
The turf outside of the north entrance is a real mess and has been for a long time. Can you tell me if you're going to have Ruth Hoffman address that?
The question was about some of the work by the north entrance, and the same as in the courtyard and a couple other places as well. Yes, we've contracted with Ruth back in February. She's running about a month and a half behind on the things we've hired her and contracted her to do. As of yesterday, she can't give us a date or time when she'll get here with people either. But yes, Ruth Huffman gets about 50% of my grounds budget to do a lot of things for us, and she's struggling to meet that obligation right now. Yes, sir.
The pink ribbons around trees, is that guy still coming, or?
Yes, so if some of you have seen pink ribbons tied to some of the trees around here, we are not cutting those trees down. Those are trees that our arborists we want to come have a look at and do some trimming and improving to. Yes, he's contracted as well. I don't have a date yet for him as well. He's been pretty good though. He usually is here within a few weeks of when we talk to him.
The problem is the mowers get whacked with the low limbs.
So I've heard from the mower guys.
I wouldn't mind going out and doing the ones near me. They
Well,
probably wouldn't be
If
quite
I,
as
if I find out our tree whisperer is not coming in an appropriate time frame, I will engage with Ruth or our in-house, not Ruth, I'm sorry, with Sue for our volunteer list or our in-house guys to take care of that. He's been really good though, so I want to give him a chance. And like I said, he's only a couple weeks behind when we've talked to him, so hopefully soon. Yes,
Is
ma'am.
our ground supervisor position full or part-time?
The ground supervisor position is a full-time, hourly, full-time with benefits year-round position that we advertise. Yes, ma'am.
You have talked about blinds in several parts of Anderson. For those of us who sometimes meet over at Sunnyside, the blinds in that big room are broken.
Those were not on my list, but based on, after I signed the contract for him, we actually added Sunnyside to that list as well, based on some resident feedback. So there was a little bit of money left in that account, and Alicia didn't yell at me, so we went ahead and added that. I don't know the timeline for that, but that's on his list as well. Yes, ma'am.
My cottage faces the south parking lot, and I have around me some big crepe myrtles, and they really got burned in the top part with that freeze. Are you going to address the problem of the crepe myrtles?
I'll have to check with Kenny. We've done some pruning assessment and damage assessment stuff, but I don't know if that's either Ruth or Raleigh, our tree guy. I don't know who is looking at them. In-house, I don't have the guys with the expertise to do that. So our two outside people, that's on their list, but I don't know which one has that. And I don't know what their advice will be either.
Okay, but they're
But
gonna
yes,
look
they'll be looked at by outside hired smart people, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, y'all.
Hello. Oh, there we go. Some of you may have seen me before. If you haven't, I hope to become a somewhat more familiar face. A quick update from Adam Feldbauer on June 3rd. Jason Eldridge from TKC will be leading a health chat to speak on smart tech, both wearables and household. So that will be on June 3rd from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. That is also, here's an insider scoop, that is the day that we will have a returning mini farmers market to take place in Kendall Hall from 1:15 to 2:45. So keep your eyes peeled for that announcement. Now on to my little piece of what I am talking for today. Some of you who are aware of what I've done, someone mentioned like the emails for activities earlier, and I should say my name out loud. I'm Cadence Edmonds, and I'm Interim Activities Director. I will be covering this position until we find a hire that is a golden hire, and I will overlap with that person to make the transition smooth. And so in my tenure here, I have had a focus foremost on what it looks like to better facilitate integration between independent living and Webster and Borden. Because the socialization, particularly for those who are in Borden, is a really big piece. And they love to be around you guys. They've lived with you guys oftentimes for decades. And so I have had a lot of questions. I've had a lot of attempts to sort of increase this facilitation. There have been successful in activities like the Pop-Up Art Gala to facilitate that sort of interaction. There have been less successful activities like the Pin Pal Corral, which I invite any of you with questions to ask me any time about, little mistakes I've made along the way. Because that's sort of the idea that I've been trying lots of different things to encourage more engagement between the different levels of Kendall living, because this is a wonderful community and you benefit each other. And so I'm excited to bring what I can to this role. That said, the two things I'm bringing up today are in line with this desire of mine to facilitate more flow through the ecosystem of Kendall. This first thing is a Borden and Webster activities survey, which sometime tomorrow will be going into your mailboxes. It's just a single sheet to sort of get an idea of what times you're available to attend activities that are also for Borden and Webster, as well as what sort of activities most interest you for that purpose. So I am hopeful that you'll respond to that. I will have a box in the Anderson Library that those fill-out surveys can go to. The next thing is sort of a passion project for me that I'm hoping to get well established and underway. I'm calling this the Kendall Museums Initiative. Now, the idea behind this is to let independent living residents either donate or loan art to be hung, small to medium to large sculptures, small antiques even, to be spread throughout Borden and Webster in a way that is, of course, protective of those items, but also accessible and informational to people who walk through the halls, whether they be staff members or residents of independent living, or of course the residents of Borden and Webster. Now, I anticipate that this project from initiation to completion will run anywhere from 2 to 3 months. I'm breaking it into 4 phases. So right now we're in the first phase, which will be an optional survey I'm placing tomorrow in Anderson, as well as an informational sheet to give more details I don't have time for here. That will be to basically figure out what is it that you guys might be interested in either donating or loaning. And then there will be, of course, meetings in the second stage of preparation. At that time, we'll be finalizing the infrastructure, like the china cabinet I just delivered myself from Roanoke, that is now in Webster. Pieces of furniture like that, which could display those items that you are loaning, as well as writing placards to go with each piece as if it were actually in a museum, and meeting with those who are interested in either helping with the project or loaning or donating an item for it, to discuss in detail how we go about implementing this. Of course, stage 3 is implementation. I don't expect that everything for the project will go up in a single day. In fact, I think it would be best done over the course of 2 to 3 weeks to put up objects with care and intentionality as we are thinking about how this project goes into place. And then the final piece will be the presentation. We want to culminate in a activity, one for Borden and one for Webster, that is an opening to present these pieces, which have been provided by the community, placed by the community, and cherished by the community. This will provide the option for those who have donated pieces or loaned them to stand by the piece where it is placed and have sort of a tour through the hallways to discuss some of the personal story behind the piece and the information we have on it. Sort of in line with what I bring to the table. I double majored in biology and studio art at WNL. The studio art degree runs a bit stronger in me. And so I hope to serve you guys with this project. I think that this is the perfect community to pursue something like this in. Does anyone have any questions? All right, well, I hope you'll see those surveys and respond to them joyfully. And please feel free to ask me any questions. There will be a space on both surveys for you to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you first to Vic and Bob for putting this up on the screen so you can see as well as hear what the events are. I want to remind you all too to be sure to look at the board, the bulletin board for C&E, because there are a lot of things that are added after connections come out, and Paul is really very good about I don't know how many copies he makes of that. He keeps changing. Every time there's something new or a change, he makes another copy. First thing, Wednesday, we are going to the Golden Garden, a Chinese restaurant in Lexington, and it looks like we have a full bus for that. Saturday, May 30th, will be another popular trivia night in the restaurant at 7. Then into June, and we don't have anything posted on this yet. I'm waiting for Paul to get back to help out with that. June 11th, we will have a tour of the Miller House with Burl Fisher. We have gone here several times in the past, and it has always been interesting. June 12th, we are going to the baseball game in Salem. The Ridgecks versus the Fayetteville Woodpeckers. There will be fireworks after the game. And the sign-up list for this, once we get it up, will fill up fast, I know. Tuesday, June 16th, Elizabeth Harrelson will give a talk on her visit to the Keukenhof Gardens in Holland and all the beautiful flowers she saw. Thursday, June 18th, we'll have a tour of Thornhill, the estate of Kendall Board member Bennett Ross. And Bennett will give us some history as we tour several homes inside and areas outside. And this property we can see from Kendall. It's high up on the hill, and once you're there at Thornhill, you can look down and see Kendall. June 23, we will have an all-day tour of northern Rockbridge County by bus, stopping at several places we've heard about and learning all sorts of interesting information. Whether you are new to Kendall or been here several years, I think you will enjoy this outing. And June 30th, we'll be dining out. We'll be at the patio at Taps. That's okay. Every Saturday is game day at 1 o'clock in the cafe. Movies Mondays and Thursdays at 7 in Kendall Hall. And then Saturday nights at 8, there's music and streaming on the Sunnyside back patio. And the list of concerts is posted on the CE bulletin board. Any questions? Thank you.
Hello again, and hello to Paul, wherever he is. Quick things on our agenda for Kendall College. The most immediate, of course, is this afternoon. The third and final lecture by
Andrea LePage.
Andrea LePage on Latin American art. And although it has been announced several times, I announce once more that it will be early. It will start at 4 o'clock today, not at 4:30. 4 o'clock. If you come at 4:30, you'll miss half. Then in June, our next Kendall College program will be in sort of a given in this political season that we're in, a 3-part lecture on electoral systems by a fairly new professor of politics at Washington and Lee named Sheehan Virgin. He will cover things that I will not try to cover now because you can read about it in Connections, which is coming out in just a few days. And you can read about it when Linda Dwyer prepares her flyer and when Stephanie sends out an email to all of you. July, we're giving you a holiday, no program in July. But in August, at MJ Mayerchuk's enlisting, we have a program on terrorism, a 3-lecture program by Dennis Foster, who is the VMI head of their International Studies program. Now, I keep getting questions about what the 3 novels are that we have scheduled for November, December, and January. And I'll give it to you again very quickly. November is The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. In December, The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. And then in January, No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. Any questions? Thank you.
We're coming into summer, but the time is coming to start thinking about our holiday arts and crafts fair, which will be the very first weekend in December. I have a show and tell. This is a pillow that Nancy Epley made, one of the very last things that she created, and there's 4 of these. She used her way of taking and transferring pictures from books. And so this will be at the Holiday Craft Fair. But this is going to be on the hands-on table. Hands-on table means that it's for people that might want to donate something they have made. You need to have made it yourself. And we have both staff and residents participating in this. All of the proceeds from that table go to the Staff Appreciation Fund in December. Also, you can participate in the Holiday Craft Fair if you want to have your own table and you have enough to then put your items on the table to sell. And you can either donate those funds to the craft fair, or you can help them reimburse yourself for the supplies that have gone into your project. We had a lot of people participating last year, and we look forward to more people doing so. You'll be hearing more about it as time progresses, but just to have it, the craft fair get in your head soon. Thanks.
Good morning. Good morning. This makes about the 10th time you get to say good morning. Make sure your vocal cords stay in practice while you're sitting there listening. I've been asked to do just a brief report on a session that Jen Karsten, the governance advisor to TKC, did with conveners last week. People sometimes think being a convener is just, either a really heavy role or a role where you don't do anything because everybody else on the committee already knows what's going to happen, and so they just do whatever they need to do. Instead, we called a meeting of both the standing committee conveners and the interest group conveners. 80% of the conveners showed up for this 1-hour session with Jan. She generated from the group 3 questions that then spent the rest of the hour answering. And so let me just tell you very quickly what the takeaway was. Now, this is my interpretation of the takeaway because there aren't any official minutes of the session. When we're a convener, we need to lean in to curiosity. That is, someone who has a different idea, or maybe even perceived as an opposing idea, opens up an opportunity for us to lean into that and ask questions. Why? How? Where? When? And so rather than seeing it as opposition, see it as an opportunity for you to grow as a convener. Second, and probably most important, make sure that everyone on your committee or in your group is heard. Being heard doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do what that person wants. But if that person gets a chance to explain what he or she is thinking, then they have a role in the ultimate decision or consensus that is reached. So make sure people are heard. And please, don't do it by saying, Well, I've noticed, Sue, that you never say anything. You're really quiet. Why don't you talk? That's not the way to encourage participation. Meanwhile, Sue's going, cold day before I talk again. But making sure people are heard. Third, be very clear about the consensus that is reached. And that means writing it out, sharing it, making sure that what you think is the consensus is what the other members of the committee also believe is the consensus. And then finally, sort of a reinforcement of the first one, dissent is not necessarily opposition. Dissent is a different idea. So that's, if you have the chance to listen to Jen Karsten in the future, if she comes back again, she is tremendous. Although she says she's still practicing, she practices what she asks us also to do, and very well. Very quickly, Bob's given me about 30 seconds. Trex hat. not the other hat from Residents Council. You're doing a wonderful job of what you put in to the recycling container. And yes, we're still recycling plastic. The rules have changed about benches, and I can explain that to you at another point. Otherwise, there's going to be one of those hooks, and I get pulled off. But there are still some things going into the recycling container that are not plastic film. That is not plastic film. That's cellophane. Can't use it. Hard-boiled eggs, pretzels, those do not stretch. Those bags do not stretch. Not plastic film. Partially plastic film on the front, partially plastic film on the front because it stretches. But see that mesh? Not plastic film. Can't be used. So again, I thank you. We've had 10 benches. Who knows when we'll get another one because the rules have changed. But what we're doing is keeping even a little tiny bit of plastic film out of the landfill. And so if you'll continue to do it, preferably without stuff that crinkles and has other fibers in it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Just a few closing comments. First of all, we have had 22 of our residents participate in supporting the pillars of the strategic planning process, which the board of directors is going through, and representing all of us. Thank you so much for that. The strategic planning process being pursued by the board with the support of administration and the input of residents is still being developed. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock here, you'll probably get a little bit of an update, but this planning process will not be finished until later in the summer, and then you'll share with it. Everybody's been watching the resident art gallery. It will turn over on Thursday, June 18th. And so we encourage anybody who is displaying their art now to bring in their new art, and we'd love to have new residents participate by adding their art then. As we referred to last night, we had a great conversation with over 60 residents participating, a number of staff members and a number of board of directors, with the focus being to thank Pam Lucky, and we need to convey that thanks again to not only her, but also other board members, including Bruce Summers, who's stepping down at the end of many years of supporting. And we now have 5 new board members, and you'll get exposed to them tomorrow afternoon at the meeting, but it looks like a combination of who's from Lexington. They are really experienced people. In closing, and I see our great secretary in the back saying, thank goodness. I just wanted to share a little story from Suetta and myself. We were out the other night at a restaurant, really enjoying a quiet restaurant, and I looked across the room and saw this much older couple sharing their time together. And I looked over at Suetta and said, 10 or 15 years, we're probably going to be where they are. And she said, Robert, you're looking into the mirror. Thank you so much.